Good day, everybody. Today's goal is to do a video of starting up a flight in OnAir, programming that flight into SimBrief and then into the A320neo, doing the startup procedure and taking off. So, with that all being said, let's start this up and see how it goes. So, from here, in the sim. We don't need to do anything in the sim quite yet, so let's jump into OnAir and get the OnAir flight set up first. I've already got my jobs picked, so I'm just going to go right to my aircraft. Once the aircraft is loaded in here, there we are. Now we're going to pick the 320neo. We're going to prep our flight. Alright, so you'll notice got a bunch of jobs that are already past due. But we'll still make some money off of them, just not much. So it's still worth flying them. Would have been better if I did these when I was originally planning, but I kind of caught a bug and have been under the weather, so a slight delay on flights. Okay, so I selected my cargo, selected my passengers. Shows the amount of crew that I need, so I've got my attendants, pilot and co-pilot. This is my weight breakdown here. With my extra payload of 3,402, brings my gross weight up to 140,000. So from here, I'm going to go to SimBrief Dispatch. I'll bring up SimBrief. So there we are, SimBrief. My standard flight number, Air Canada 222. Okay, now I've got my own airframe saved in here for the 320neo. That's fairly easy to do. You just go in here, saved airframes, set up your airframe. I match the stats of what the plane shows, that particular plane shows in OnAir. But it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so from there I go down to my passengers. Now if you just do a quick little stagger of your windows, then you can see your passengers, 120, and freight, 23,000 and 1 pound. There's my route. I'm pretty satisfied with that. Now we're going to generate that flight. I'm also going to open this in charts, so open up Navigraph. That's already got my approach in there. I think I'll do ILS. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Alright, so I'm satisfied with that. So we will go back to OnAir. Import SimBrief data. Then you'll see here in the route, it's imported all of that. It's given me suggested fuel. Now, you can see with that suggested fuel gives me 1,126 nautical miles with my 30-minute reserve. And that's a bit more than what I need for my route plus my alternate, so I am satisfied with that fuel. So just double checking everything is still selected here. I'm content. We'll validate. Okay. That'll bring me in at dusk. I'm going to go for an early morning flight, so I'm just going to offset this to 6:30. All right, I'm content with all of this. Yeah, all this looks good, so we will go fly now. And then we can pop on over to the sim. And we can set that up for the time being. Because as you see, it still thinks we're in the ocean on OnAir map. Pick up this beauty here. And if we remember, we were going from FALA and then Seria International. So we go FALA. And we want to start in a gate. Conditions, custom, but I do need to switch that time to 6:30 in the morning. All right, save. Everything is looking okay there. Let's start flight. Okay, just gotta do a little bit of a waiting game now. Alright, so here's our beautiful plane. We'll just pop right into the cockpit here. Okay, everything's looking nice. Let's get our startup procedure going. We'll do batteries on. Okay. I don't have external power here, which is okay, so we'll just start the APU. Give that a second to get started. You can always go out here and listen to the APU starting up. Nice and clearly coming through. And you'll definitely tell when it gives power, because everything here will come alive. Now, if we were at a gate, we could just go external power and skip this step for now, but not a big deal. And there we go. So turn on the bleed. IRS switch is on. Okay, ground control on. Crew supply on. We'll go strobe auto, beacon on. Nav logo on, taxi light on. Turn up our integrated lighting. Standby compass on, seatbelts on, electronics auto, emergency exit lights on. Alright, so that is this screen. Start up the tablet. I like to do the tablet steps next so that all the weights are in and done. So sometimes it integrates everything nicely from SimBrief, sometimes it doesn't. So I like to give it a try. So we'll do that, but then you got to pop over to OnAir. Make sure it's coming up nicely. See, the total payload is not happy. So find what we'll have to do. Let's just go into zero fuel weight. I find is easiest. We're up by 2,000 pounds.
From the flight deck, on behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer, and cabin crew, I'd like to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight. We're just wrapping up some paperwork up front here and waiting to receive final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
Okay, so as I was saying, OnAir is not totally happy here. As you can see, total payload is off by about 2,100 pounds. So I'll go to zero fuel weight, and I'll adjust this by 2,100 pounds.
Boarding completed.
Reload, and there we go. Now OnAir has given us a green check mark, and we're pretty darn close to that weight, so that works for us. Next, we will need to adjust the fuel. So, same page on the tablet. Now we just go to the fuel tab. And OnAir wants us to have, what's he do? 1800 or 18,116. So I'll put it at an even 18,200.
Flight deck. On behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer, and cabin crew, I'd like to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight.
Look at that, 18,200. SimBrief put that in nicely.
Receive final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin
There we
shortly
go.
with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft.
And that gives us another green check mark. We are all green across the board for OnAir.
Welcome aboard.
So with that being done, we could start tracking. And make sure that step is done, so that way we don't get dinged with not starting engines. Or not tracking when we start our engines. So with that done, we can also pop over here. Can fill this data from SimBrief for our calculations, hit calculate. All this info is here for us now. Now I'll pop over to the MCU, go to ATSU, AOC, initialize data request. There we go. Now diff strip, so data. Okay, everything here is looking good, nothing jumping out. Initialize, init request. Airway waypoint mismatch. We'll have to look into that. Okay, get the winds and temps while we're here. For all three phases. Okay, flight plan. Now, this is where I like to double check with Navigraph and just follow the defaults that are set here. So 25. Insert. I'm going to clear out this discontinuity. Now I did see a mismatch for airway waypoints. So I'm just going to follow along with this route along the top here. Utrecht, Gabna, GMV. Ah, yes, I see. R409. Oh, mismatch. Okay. So that does not want to go in. Doesn't like that airway, or it's not in the system. So we'll go waypoint by waypoint. We will just add in these few missing waypoints here. Axilla. And this should go fine. GMV. Hey now. GWV. Huh, put it there. That's interesting. I'll go race. No, my mistake. It was under VMV. So I'll go back and we'll do that again. So I'll go VMV. Oh no, what did I do? Next waypoint, VMV. Okay. Insert. Then Axilla. Then Atlas. And Avosi. Okay, so we got VMV, then Axilla, Atlas, Avosi, and Usubi. Okay, so we will insert those. And we will clear this discontinuity. Tim. SBOP. Okay, and then we'll go to the arrival. ILS 14. SBOP 2A. As we can see here, SBOP 2A. We can also pop this window back out here. See SBOP 2A, transition SBOP. which is there already because we're already at that waypoint. Go insert. All right, we are looking happy. All right. Secondary flight plan, not active still. Radio nav, that's good. Second page for initialization. Fuel planning, nice and easy. And performance. From here, okay, so from here, I personally, whoops, like to do it like this. Kind of get both screens showing. Zoom in just a bit. All right, now I can go 142, 142, 142. Nice and easy for those three. We got flaps 1, flex temp of 40, and that's performance all set up. I leave it on flight plan for while we're going. Now, I also want to make sure we flip this switch. Flip these two switches. Lock the doors. Spoilers up. Flaps to 1. So that is all set. Gotta flip that switch. That. And brighten that integrated lighting. Alright, just double check my flight controls. We're all set there. Since I'm not flying with ATC, I don't really need to worry about any of that. Now I can pop open Navigraph again to kind of cheat, since, like I said, I'm not using any ATC. So I can go to this airport info. Oh no, weather, sorry. Right here, 1026 for my barrel. So we go 1026, throw on constraints, and zoom that beauty out. Yes, gotta set it on both sides, of course. I was getting the airplane. I'd like to set that one to flight plan and zoom that out. Alright, so from here, everything is looking good. Now we can open fuel. Flip ignition. Over 15, then I like to turn on the second. I don't know if that's the proper amount of wait time, but that's how I do it. I'll let those start up here.
Attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Alright, so just saw available come through that. You hear the air change. Can turn off ignition. Turn off APU bleed, APU master. Okay. Then I pull up flight tab, flight planner. Center it on my airplane instead of the ocean. And we're going off of 25, right? We're leaving Fala on runway 25. Ooh. Runway 25. So now it's just an easy taxi. Like I said, we're not using ATC, so we're just going to kind of freehand this. So emergency brakes off. All right, now that we're rolling, I'll turn on. There we go. A little on the wrong yellow line. Get back in the middle here. That's better. Just following the border line, not the center line. What a rookie. All right, now that we're rolling, we can get these checks done. So auto brakes on max. Okay. To alert the cabin, go up here to calls, all, and takeoff checks. The takeoff config right there. Now we're all green. You want to keep an eye on your ground speed right here. We're at 29, 30. You do not want to exceed 40. All right, we know where we're going, so we can lose the tablet. Slow down for our turn. Crossing the threshold, so we'll turn on landing lights. I'm just gonna line up and go. Alright, lined up. There we go. And thrusters forward. Down here, getting up to our V speeds, rotate, taxi lights off, landing gear up, autopilot on. forgot to set my altitude. I'm just gonna kind of skip a step here. I'm gonna put that right at the max altitude, or cruising altitude, sorry, of 23,000. If you can't really make out the lighting, right here's the dial. Turn up that lighting. Okay. There. 23,000. Now it wants levers to climb. Bring back our levers. Speed is just about at 200, so flaps up. Put spoilers down. Flap configuration is going to standard. We should be entering our turn. It's flashing wants us to go to standard baro. There we are. Like I said, as we enter into our turn. There it is. There's the turn. Beautiful. You can snap a couple pictures. Just waiting for the last indicator from OnAir. That we are in our proper climbing configuration and that we can turn off our landing lights. Okay, landing lights should go away soon once they tuck away. Landing lights right there, and there we are. Landing lights is gone. Now we are all set to settle in for a nice little cruise. As OnAir is showing there, about 2 hours, which will drastically cut down once we get to cruising speed, maybe about an hour and 15. And that is setting up a flight in OnAir to SimBrief to configuring the plane and taking off. I hope that was helpful, and if there's any feedback, by all means, leave it in the comments or hit us up on our Discord. Have a great day, folks, and take care of one another. Ciao for now.